Hey, what's up, guys? It's Onepeg. So, from time to time, and I promise I will try to keep this brief, from time to time, we take a look around the marketplace, right? We want to see if there's any competitors to games that we enjoy, things that are in roughly the same genre and vein. So, games like Tarkov have a couple of up-and-comers that are kind of working their way toward things, like Beautiful Light, for instance. But in the dark and darker side of things, on that dungeon crawler, like extraction genre, there have been a couple of other ideas that have been floating around on Steam. One of which was Greed is Good, which in my opinion looked like they were just copying the homework of the devs at Dark and Darker, using the same animations, even the same aesthetics. Looked like more of the same with the exception of a mana bar. And, a grain of salt being what it is, whatever. The other one was Project Crawl, and I had an opportunity to be able to play that for a playtest a few months back, just for a weekend. And since then, they've decided to rebrand. Now, I had a couple of issues with this game, with the Project Crawl, and that was the collision issue, meaning that if you were swinging at enemies and whatnot, you were trying to fight with them, there wasn't any collision for any of the weapon swings. If you went to block a weapon that was swung at you with a shield, for instance, the shield merely reduced the amount of damage that you took. But they did have some interesting mechanics that I liked. There was some stat-based progression methodology in there where, based on certain breakpoints, you would get an extra perk, the extra ability to do something. Like, for instance, a cleric class, if you had a certain amount of points in one of the attributes, the heal was able to be turned into a nuke that you could use against other players and enemies. I thought that was a very interesting spin on the idea. And they also had this other class where you could summon spectral swords and sling them at people, which I thought was interesting, where you were using short swords as ammunition. So your entire inventory was just full of swords because you were trying to use them to cast at people. So really interesting idea, obviously not all the way fleshed out, but still cool spin, right? They have since rebranded to this game called Dungeonborn, and I want to say that I'm not sponsored to show this to you or anything. They're not paying me anything. No one's asked me to do this, but they do have a playtest that's coming up in a couple of days, and I want to be able to stream this and showcase this for you. There isn't any kind of NDA or anything, and I believe they're going to do this as an open access kind of deal, so everyone should be able to play it. But I think January 30th, in a couple of days, we're going to be able to look at this and play this. But I wanted to show you the trailer, just kind of skim through this, and this is right on Steam. You can go to the Dungeonborn Steam page and play it, or go to YouTube. One thing I will note, though, is that their CGI artists, whoever are doing this animation, are very, very talented. This reminds me of like Diablo 2-esque CGI animation. It feels a lot like something that Blizzard would produce, which I thought was very, very cool and interesting. Like the facial features and stuff, like they just kind of nail it. But this progresses into the first-person perspective. You can see how they've been doing a little bit of work. And yes, it is canned assets. Don't get me wrong. They're just like Greed is Good and Dark and Darker, and this game, they are all UE5 store assets, so you're going to see, like, the troll boss is going to be very, very similar. They look very much the same because the models are the same. But you can see that they have certain mechanics, certain ideas, certain effects that are different. And one thing that of note that we can see right here that they decided to change based on feedback is this. Bang. That is not something that happened before. Having the ability to be able to parry or have some amount of collision on the weapons and the shields is new. And this looks like, from a first-person perspective, to be pretty good. The animations are slow, and it looks like a little bit clunky and a little bit jittery, I guess, at the beginning here. But it's playable, assuming that it's playable. And this interests me. The trailer that they provided shows me things that they have iterated on since we played it last. And that's the most important thing. That collider right there with the shield, that is all the difference. Now it looks and feels like some visceral hack and slash game that I could actually get into, because you can see that the combat becomes reactive. And that's the most important part for a game like this for me. Now, it could be different for other people, and that's fine. And I'm just saying, like, what my opinion of it is and how I want to view this. Now, granted, again, a lot of the assets are very much canned, right? We know that it's UE5 store stuff, and I get all that. This is something that makes me want to go, I wonder what other ideas these guys have got for this genre of game. Maybe there's something here. And it could be something new and different, and there's nothing wrong with competition. When you have competition in the marketplace, it makes other devs be more creative. Competition is a good thing. It drives the entire genre forward and creates, an air of competition so that we as consumers can obviously get a better and better product. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. The game, again, is called Dungeonborn. You can find it on Steam. It just says coming soon, though. There's a playtest, I believe, that's going on in the next couple of days. And then I believe it should be open for everyone. If I get those dates wrong, I will put something in the comments section so that you guys can check it out. Anyway, guys, that's what I have for this one. Thanks so much for coming and checking it out. I will be live as soon as this video is live. You can find me over at twitch.tv/Onepeg, or as always, sub the channel here and maybe even click the little bell thing. That would be pretty dope. Anyway, we'll see you soon, okay, guys? Thanks so much. Peace.